Hey guys, how's it going? It's Corey, your NBA manager here with Caleb, our DFI MLB manager here. How you doing, Caleb?
Doing pretty good. Had a fun weekend of MLB and ready to get back to the weekday and the everyday grind. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Today's an interesting day. NBA is off as they usually are after a holiday, so we have all MLB, and I'm completely cool with that. Made sure we had Caleb on this slate, so he can help break down the whole slate for us. And as usual, we'll start with the $1 jackpot, and we have most hits with Jose Altuve, Ender Inciarte, Bryce Harper, and Hanley Ramirez. What you thinking here?
So immediately when you see the hit king on there, you want to know that he's probably the top option. You see Jose Altuve on there in the hit category, you're definitely going to want to prioritize him. He does have a good matchup against Tillman. Tillman is exploitable against right-handed bats. He's nothing to worry about for Jose Altuve, although he does have a good sample against him in his history. But I think Altuve still would be my front runner here. But I think we got to give a little bit of love to Harper down here. He will see Newcomb, but I still think that Harper, even though he's facing a lefty, he still has a good chance to get a lot of hits here. Hanley and Ender and Ciarte, I'm not huge on this one. I would definitely lean most of my entries on Altuve here, though. Maybe get one or two exposure to Harper if I'm multi-entering.
Yeah, this one's weird. You have Altuve against one of the probably worst pitchers in the MLB, but he has really bad BVP, which is interesting. I
Hmm.
don't know why. Maybe he's getting really lucky. You have to look into it. Unlucky. You have to look into his BABIP there. But you gotta assume regression soon. So Houston's hanging up that banner tonight. I mean, they're gonna be. That's gonna be an interesting
Yeah.
environment for sure.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I mean, we have some great hitters in here: Bryce Harper, Inciarte, Hanley Ramirez going against a rookie. But I mean, yeah, I got to go Jose Altuve. I think he'll be extra pumped tonight. Gotta love what's going on there. O's bullpen hasn't been pitching well. O's stars haven't been pitching well. I think Altuve's in a great spot too. And for most RBI category, we have JD Martinez, Carlos Correa, Jose Abreu, and Abdul Herrera. Do you have a favorite here too?
I think I'm gonna go back to the Astros here. They do come back home tonight, like you said. They're hanging up the banner. They're gonna have a lot of positive regression for that park going for them coming back from Texas. So I think the home ballpark is gonna help them out a lot tonight. And I think if you're picking Altuve for hits, you might as well pick Correa for RBIs because he's probably gonna be knocking them in, batting in one spot in the order behind him. I do want to get one share or two of Jose Abreu against the lefty because he does have a very very strong ISO against him. I believe his ISO is close to 300 against left-handers, so he's going to be looking to put a lot of power into balls against left-handers tonight. But I think Correa is he's our optimal pick here.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, ISO is a very big advanced sabermetric statistic that has a lot to do with power. So when it comes to RBIs, we want guys with a lot of power,
Hmm.
which Caleb was describing. I'm sticking with the Astros here myself for the exact reason Caleb said in the beginning. The correlation there is great. You know, you'll have Jose Abreu getting hits, and you'll have Carlos Correa knocking him in. And I don't think can get better than that. I think I really like our chances there that you can stack those guys just like you can on other DFS sites, and like the correlation is going to be positive. It has to be when one's getting on base and the other's hitting them in. I definitely see the merit in Abreu. JD Martinez going against a rookie, he could absolutely crush him out of the park. And the Abdul Herrera game actually is postponed, so make sure
Yeah,
not to
yeah,
pick him. Forgot to mention that.
do not.
So then for total bases, we have Freddie Freeman, Ryan Zimmerman, another Astro, and George Springer. And
Hmm.
Asdrubal Cabrera, who is also in that postponed game, do not select him.
Yeah.
Are we sticking Astros here, or are you taking a different path?
Yeah, when you get a chance to pick the leadoff hitter for total bases, that's always the best because how much valuable the extra at bat is, and it's almost guaranteed that Springer will get more at bats than guys behind him in the order. So I would definitely lean with Springer, especially since we're going Astros here. You might as well keep the theme throughout. Go Altuve, go Correa, go Springer for total bases, and keep that optimal strategy. Now, if you wanted to get a little bit more exposure, I think you could probably pick Freeman against Roark. I don't think that's a terrible pick, especially in his park back at home. It's not bad. But Zimmerman, I'm probably not going to be getting a share of. I think I'll just be going all out on Springer.
Yeah, gotta agree again. The upside's there with the same stack. What do you got? We got one. I think they did put the lineup out. I can't remember what it is.
I got
But
it. Who are we looking for?
you got Springer, Altuve, Correa.
I don't think it is out yet. Oh yeah, actually it is out. And we've got.
I might have that. No, I don't have that up.
Can't find it now. I just had it up. Disappeared. Okay, yeah. So it's Springer, Bregman, Altuve, and Correa. So you have the top 4 hitters there.
Yeah.
You have 3 of the top 4.
So you have Springer getting on base, Altuve getting on base, and then Correa hitting them in. Just makes a lot of sense there. You also have the leadoff hitter. He's going to probably see, I don't know, I'm going to guess 5 at bats tonight.
Yeah.
I really like his chances. You got Zimmerman hitting a little later in the batting order. Freeman always has that upside. He could easily crank one and win this slate. That's why he's the favorite. But I'm with the Astros here. And speaking of Astros, we got the Astros pitcher for strikeouts against my Orioles, who were batting a 117 to start the year. It's not pretty. I want to say that the Orioles have a ton of righties, and for some reason, Charlie Morton strikes out lefties way more than righties. One of the more interesting stats you'll see. So maybe we don't want to highball it too much, but at the same time, Orioles just aren't seeing the ball well right now. So I'm interested to hear your take on how many strikeouts he'll get.
Orioles still strike out a ton. Last year, I think they had a combined K rate well over 20%. So they definitely have a lot of strikeout potential on any slate. I think that we would definitely want to get Morton for at least 5, a floor of 5 Ks here. I'm going to go with 7. That's going to be me personally. He does see 6 righties, so he'll get the 3 lefties, which, like you said, it's a little bit weird that he strikes out more lefties than righties, but I still think he Ks enough of those righties to get up to 7.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I was thinking 6 or 7 right there too. The one thing we always want to note is that on a starter's first game, they're going to have a short leash. We could see Morton pulled. He could have 6 Ks and throw 85 pitches, and that could be his game, even if he allows 2 hits. So we always want to be a little careful of that, especially some veterans. I really like 6 or 7, like Caleb said. The upside's a little capped by the likely limit, but yeah. So the next thing we'll do is we will jump into the $2 progressive Monday slate for MLB, where we have most hits between Avisaíl Garcia, Starlin Castro, Manny Machado, and Josh Donaldson. Love to hear your thoughts on that.
I think we saw a stat earlier today in our MLB chat. Someone was doing research that Machado will see a 2-seam fastball like probably 30 to 50% of the time tonight, and his power is well below, or his batting average is well below average against the 2-seam fastball. So I think we're going to be off Machado here a little bit, even though he is a good option. And I think I'm going to be off Castro here too in that park. Just not too huge on him against Boston, even though he gets a left-hander, I believe. Yeah, he gets a left-hander. I'm going to go to Donaldson and Avisaíl Garcia. Garcia gets a lefty, and the White Sox are surprisingly good. One of the better teams in MLB against left-handed hitters or left-handed pitchers. So I do like Avisaíl Garcia here for a lot of hits, and he's a very high average guy. He will hit for a high average. Donaldson is intriguing. I'll take a share or 2 of Donaldson. I might split my entries, but I think he might be a little bit hurt right now. He's kind of shown that in his defense, and his swing just hasn't seemed to be quite right. So but I still want to consider him. They have a good matchup against Reynaldo Lopez at home tonight, who's just not a very great pitcher. And I think as a team, they're in a good spot. So if their team's rolling, he might have a good chance to put a lot of hits together. But I would probably go Avisaíl Garcia here as my favorite.
Yeah, this one's a really tough category. I don't see anyone absolutely popping, getting three or more hits in this category. Yeah, Caleb makes a good point. I mean, usually you see Donaldson on here against a rookie pitcher who has a lot of promise, but he's been struggling a ton, and even in spring training. And it's with that hurt shoulder, Donaldson just hasn't looked himself at all, which is a little concerning. Caleb brought up a great point about Manny Machado. Just a real tough matchup overall against Charlie Morton, who on any other team would probably be a second or third starter at worst, but on like Houston stacked. So that's Garcia. I mean, Garcia, like I think he's my favorite too. I mean, Starlin Castro is going to go up against Brian Johnson, who's had a lot of injuries, but he's a pretty good, decent pitcher. But Garcia, I like picking him against lefties, no matter who the lefty is. Don't know if I expect him to crank any home runs, but we're only talking about hits here, and I definitely think he gets on base. So yeah, tough category, but that we both would lean Garcia. We already touched on hits for those four. And then we'll jump to RBIs between Jay Bruce, who is also in that postponed game. Do not select him. Andrew Benintendi, Adam Jones, and Tim Anderson. This one's another tough category. Nothing pops out to me in the beginning. Do you have anything on it?
Yeah, this one's really tough. I like Benintendi. He's going against a younger pitcher, right-hander. I just don't like the park there, so that's one thing that I probably will take me off of him a little bit. I don't like Adam Jones against Morton. It's just a really tough matchup for the Baltimore today against Morton. Anderson is risky, but I think there's merit to it just because that team has a chance to score a lot of runs today. I personally think I would probably split my entries between Benintendi and Anderson and just call it good there if I was multi-entering.
Yeah, this one's really tough too.
Yeah.
The only thing I kind of like that I have a little interest in is that Benintendi's going up against the guy who just got called up for the Marlins. Might give him a little edge. You would think so. But yeah, then again, we don't have any true stats on that pitcher. We know Garcia's a big ground ball pitcher. Maybe Tim Anderson gets a few out of the infield. But yeah, I mean, we don't have Jay Bruce as an option, who probably would have been a decent option. Adam Jones we don't like, and then you're just left with these two. So you either got to split shares or probably lean Benintendi a little bit because he gets that young pitcher, whereas Anderson sees a very experienced one, but very tough category. And then we already touched on RBIs for those four, so we'll jump into most runs scored. Between Cesar Hernandez, again, that game has been postponed. Do not select him. Eduardo Nunez, Josh Reddick, and Kevin Pillar. I think I might have an interesting favorite here, but I want to hear yours first.
It might be the same as yours, but I'll go ahead and spit it out. I like Josh Reddick here. Reddick he's a left-hander. I think Tillman is definitely worse, a little bit worse to lefties. So I think Reddick will get he got a bump in the lineup as well. He got pushed up into the 5 spot for him.
Okay.
So that gives him a boost as well. So I like Reddick here, but I do think Nunez, he's a guy who's going to get on base quite a bit. He's going to cause a lot of havoc on the bases. Toronto's in a really good spot as well, but I think for me, I'll probably give most of my shares to Josh Reddick, and then I'll maybe, if I'm multi-earning, just sprinkle 1 or 2 on Nunez or Pillar.
Yeah, I got a lot of worthy guys here. I honestly probably would have picked Cesar Hernandez against Matt Harvey because the lefties just absolutely crushed Matt Harvey if he were on the slate. But since he's not, Edward Nunez is always on base, like you said. Josh Reddick, I mean, I might roster him in other DFS sites as well. I kind of like the sneaky Kevin Pillar here, though.
Yeah.
He's been hot. He's been on base every single game he's played, which is really interesting to me. But one thing is he's already got 3 stolen bases on the season.
Sure.
And he's going against a righty. He's probably going to take off if he gets on base. And then, they have a really good matchup, so guys who can knock him in. He's the least likely to do it. You can see that he's listed last. But I think he's really sneaky. I think Reddick and Nunez are more safe. I don't know if Boston has their lineup out yet, but Nunez has been batting towards the end.
He's batting 6th.
Okay, so Nunez got a little bump, so that makes him a little more safe for me. If you're feeling risky, you can go with me with the Pillar pick. But I think Nunez might be my favorite. Reddick a close second, just because they have to touch home. But yeah, that one's a really interesting category. I think there's a lot of options there. We already touched on the total bases, and we touched on Morton strikeouts. So the last thing we'll touch on is Sean Newcomb and how many Ks he gets against the Nationals. What are you thinking here?
I think Newcomb is actually a little bit underrated. I do think Washington's a really, really tough matchup for him.
Yeah.
It's a really, really tough matchup for him. They are a little bit worse against lefties, but I still want to put him between, I think, 4 to 6 Ks here. I'd probably go with around 5. I mean, if you really want to risk it, you could go 6, but I think 4 or 5 is probably where I'd go with here.
Yeah, this is interesting. I thought his K prediction would be very low, but I'm seeing his projection at 7, which is pretty high.
Yeah.
I mean, it's early in the season, but those Nationals have been raking the ball. They got Adam Eaton back. He's back to his old self. He's been on fire. Bryce Harper, Ryan Zimmerman. You can name them all any day. Anthony Rendon, who matches lefties. The 7 prediction is kind of interesting for me because I was leaning more towards Caleb's 4 or 5. I might lean more towards the 5 spot now just because I'm seeing that prediction. I can't imagine they're too far off. But very interesting thing there. I think he's got like the third highest K percentage of the pitchers today, but it's not anything. It's like low
Hmm.
20s. Doesn't scream high. And
Hmm.
Caleb mentioned he's really young. Again with the short leash. If he gets in a little trouble, maybe gives up 3 runs. He's in the high 70s. They're gonna pull him.
Yeah.
So I think 5 is a good prediction. Wouldn't go higher than 6, definitely. But yeah, that'll do it for this slate. It's a real interesting one. Caleb is our MLB manager. He'll be researching MLB every day, even if he's off. So
That's
we'll have him
right.
on here as much as possible. So get used to that face. But no basketball today. We'll have basketball tomorrow. So we'll be talking basketball and baseball tomorrow. But that's all I got. You got anything else, Caleb?
Should be it. For any of you guys interested in DFS, head on over to Daily Fantasy Insider and check out our war rooms. And we've got free must-haves every single day, so go ahead and check them out. And we'll look forward to talking to you guys soon.
Definitely. And that is on
Yep.
dailyfantasyinsider.com, just for those of you who don't know. But good luck on the slate, guys, and have a great day.